Welcome to Computer Graphics and Visualization. In this we will discuss module 1. Right, that module 1 is overview of Computer Graphics and OpenGL. Today we will start with graphics networks. I hope all of you may be aware of normal network. It is same as normal network, but the usage of network is with specific to graphics applications. That's why the name graphics networks. Again, that's why usage is different. Means normally normal data we will send in a normal network, but when it comes to graphics network, graphics related data we have to transfer between the host and the server. This is a multi-user environment, and computer networks are now common elements in many graphics applications. Multi-user environment in the sense many number of users can use the application at a time if you are using your application and network. And computer networks are now common elements in many graphics applications. Various resources such as processor, printer, plotters and data files can be distributed on network and shared by multiple users. This means instead of storing information in standalone system, if you store information in one place, then allow everybody to use that information is nothing but you are sharing information between multiple users. Right? It helps doing such type of storing information helps in many ways. It helps redoing work. Replication means same work. For example, if you want to maintain student information, you have two colleges, right? In the two colleges separately you have to maintain the information. Instead of maintaining separately, maintain only one place and keep it in only one place so that everybody can use that one. That is multi-user environment. Then sharing of information. Like that you can share data, you can share processors, you can share printer, you can share plotter. Anything can be shared in today's network system. That is what cloud. We normally will call it as a cloud. A graphics monitor on the network is generally referred as a graphics server. Here, why we are using graphics in a network? Because we want to use the monitor here. Because most of us want to see the output. When you want to see the output, definitely monitor we require. That monitor we want to share among the users. Network in general referred as a graphics server. Graphics monitor means whatever data is there in your frame buffer, that you want to display it in a monitor. Such type information you have to store it in a graphics server or simply a server. Because that information, for example, you got one output of tree. You have output of a tree in one place. Everybody want to see the tree output, how tree looks. For example, you want to show the example of one tree, which already the tree output is available somewhere. If you don't share the output of the tree, then again you have to write your own code, then you have to execute that code, then you have to display that on your monitor. But already somebody have written a code for the tree drawing, then already that output is there somewhere. Just to make use of that output, just to display. No need to run your program. No need to write a program. That output, already tree output is available somewhere that you can use. Then where somewhere? Somewhere in the sense that is a graphics server. You keep such information, which information you want to share among the users. Such information we normally will share in a server. In this case, normally we will call it as a server. Since we are using graphics server, that's why we will call it as a graphics server. Right? The monitor inputs standard input device such as the keyboard and mouse or trackball. Then in this case, the system can provide input as well as being an output server. In this case, system can provide input as well as being an output server. Means it can act both input device or as well as being an output server. The computer on the network that is executing a graphics application program is called the client. Each program is executing graphics application program is called a client. And the output of the program is displayed on the server. Output of the program is displayed on the server. Why you are sharing the monitor only? Because monitors for different application seeing output, we want different monitors. Today I may be seeing, today I would like to see output of molecules. Tomorrow I would like to see output of one cyclone. Tomorrow I want to see output of different program output. If that is the case, then for every output, it is not possible for a user to bring many monitors. It is not possible to bring many monitors for a single home general purpose user. In that case, what he will do, he will start using the devices where they are available for his output, because he want to see the output only one time. For seeing only one time output, why you want to buy such costly monitor? In that case, you execute your program as a client machine, then send that result to your display server, that is a monitor. That is a monitor. Okay? When they are operating on a network, the client computer transmits the instruction for displaying the picture to the monitor server. Means, again what happens here? You have output in your hand. That is, both way you can do. If you want, you can store output in a server. If you want, you can see that output in your monitor, or you generate output as a client machine. Then that output you send to a server. At that time, server is acting as the output device. That time, server is acting as a. That's why in that case, the system can provide input as well as being an output server. Both way that can be used. Here you generate a output of your program, then send that output to a server side. That server is nothing but your monitor. How to do that one? When you are operating in a network, the client computer transmits the instruction for displaying a picture to the monitor. Already output is there in your frame buffer. Just what you have to do, your client machine, what your client machine have to do, it has to send the content of that output to a server machine, that is a monitor. Then on that monitor, that output will be displayed. How this is done? This is accomplished by collecting the instructions into packets. I hope you know this packet and all those things concept in the network. Collect all the commands which you required for display purpose, then form one packet. It means group of commands together, you form one packet before transmission. In you means you have 10 commands for displaying. Assume that you have 10 commands to display one output on monitor. In all 10 commands, instead of sending command one by one in a network, instead of sending command one by one in a network, again if you send one by one in a network, there are many problems you will face. That network related problems, I hope you are studying in network subject. Instead of sending commands one by one, you group all those commands and form one packet, that is called a packet, before transmission. Then send that packet directly only once. Then at that side, server side, those commands will be executed. Then those commands, whatever as per that command, then your output will be displayed on the monitor. That is, instead of sending the individual graphics instruction one at a time over the network, don't send one instruction at a time. Group and send only one packet. Right? Again, advantage and disadvantage of these two type of transmission already I hope you have studied in network subject. Then that is regarding graphics server and client machine. Graphics on the internet. Next is graphics on the internet. A great deal of graphics development is now done on the internet, which is global network of computer networks. By using internet, you can do many things over the network as a normal usage. In a similar way, you can do many graphics applications in a network and you start sharing that concept using global network, right? For doing this one, you require World Wide Web provides a hypertext system that allows user to locate and view documents that can contain text, graphics, and audio. And normally, all those things, these concepts you have studied in network. Just in this case, since we are discussing with the graphics related subject, that's why we are telling graphics and audio. Normally, text, how to transmit a text, how to store text, how to share, all these concepts, TCP, IP, these protocols you have studied in network. Similarly, you can share graphics related information, audio related information over the internet by using World Wide Web. Resources such as graphics files are identified by the uniform resource locator, that is URL. Again, URL. Wherever your graphics file is there, that URL, if you send, if somebody uses that URL, then it will locate your file where it is stored in internet. Each URL contains two parts. The protocol for transferring the document, the protocol for, I am not concentrating much on this part because already This concept you have studied in network subject. The protocol for transferring the document, the server that contains the document, and optionally the location directory on the server. This is whenever you are referring a URL will contain which protocol you are using for transmitting a data. Are you using a TCP/IP? Are you using a FTP? What type of data you are using for transmitting? Then the source where that document is there. Then in that source, in that source again, if you have made any directories, that directory where in that server, where in which directory that is available, that information will be there normally in URL, right? Then for example, URL http://siggraph.org indicates a document that is to be transferred with the hypertext protocol. Hypertext, that is HTTP. That protocol you are using is HTTP, and that the server is www.siggraph.org. This server name, which is the home page of the special internet group in graphics, that is special internet group graphics, that is graphic group name is this one, of the Association of Computer Machinery. Then documents on the internet can be constructed with hypertext markup language, HTML. How to construct documents in the internet, HTML. These parts already are studied, right? That's why I am not concentrating much on this. HTML provides a simple method for describing a document containing text, graphics, and reference hypertext to other documents. Whenever you are forming a page, internet page, web page, at that time you are using HTML to develop such pages. Then on that such page you can display text, you can display graphics, you can refer hyperlinks. All those can be, I think you have seen such type of web pages in your computer. This is regarding internet, graphics internet. Then graphics software. Next is a graphics software. Here there are two broad classifications of graphics software. Graphics software is classified into two broad categories, that is special purpose packages, then is general purpose programming packages. General programming packages, then special programming packages. Special programming packages are designed for non-programmers who want to generate pictures. Means they don't want to study the computer graphics, then also they want to generate the picture. They don't know about computer graphics, but they want to generate the computer picture, graphics picture. For such people, we are developing packages that is called special purpose packages. Right? General purpose, that is graphs or charts in some applications area without worrying about the graphics procedure that might be needed to produce such displays. Means they don't know anything regarding computer graphics programming. They don't know which command they use, how that computer graphics program executes, how that works, but then also they want to draw the graphics image on their monitor. They want to draw the graphics outputs. For such people, we have to make ready program, then we have to submit. That is called a special purpose. Example is a paint. Paint is a special purpose package. Just you start using the click icons. Then depending on those icons, whatever object you want to draw, automatically that draws. When you are clicking particular icon, definitely behind that one program is executing, that is a computer graphics program. But you don't know how that computer graphics program they have written, how it is, even they don't know whether program is executing behind or not, right? That is special purpose packages. Only special purpose package will do only those special tasks for which you have developed, only it does that work. It will not do other than that. If that feature is not there in that package, it will not do that work. That's why if you take a paint, whatever features you have provided in that paint software, only those it will draw. Which feature is not included in that paint, it is not possible to draw those images by using such purposes. That is a special purpose. Means specially meant for non-technical persons. Means non-technical in the sense which those don't know computer graphics concepts. For them we are developing software that is called special purpose. Then general programming packages, by construct, a general programming package provides a library of graphics functions that can be used in a programming language such as C, C++, Java, or Kotlin. General programming languages, you must know the programming language of graphics. Then you must know which all libraries are available. You must know how to write a program. If you want to draw a simple line, you must know how to use programming, how to use commands related to line drawing. Then how to execute that one. This is general purpose. If you know the general purpose, whatever image you want, you can draw your own. Whatever image you want, you draw. But you must be technical. Means you must study graphics. Graphics programming. A set of graphics functions is often called a computer graphics application programming interface. CG, computer graphics APIs, because the library provides a software interface between programming language such as C and the hardware. Right? You require a package. You require graphics functions. Means whenever you want to execute any graphics related function, these are not normal APIs. These are exclusively meant for graphics applications. At that time, definitely you must require interface between your hardware and your programming. Your hardware and your program. If that interface is not there, then your hardware may not understand those APIs, because the library provides a software interface between the programming language such as C and the hardware. There are libraries are available. Use those libraries which acts as the interface between your software and the hardware. Then you can write your own program. Then you can do whatever image you want to draw. That image can be drawn through your program, not by special purpose programming. This is general purpose programming language. Then next is coordinate representation. Here coordinate representation in the sense, whenever you are drawing something on your monitor, as a programmer, if you would like to draw any object, then for example you want to draw a line, then what you will give when you are drawing a line on paper by using a pen, you must know starting point, you must know end point. Those are coordinate values. Normally whatever coordinate values with respect to with your imagination, you will give 10, 10 to 100, 100. Then what is 10, 10, what is 100, 100 must be understood by your computer graphics. Then only it can identify 10, 10 on your monitor, then 100, 100 on your monitor, then from 10, 10 to 100, 100. Because 10, 10, 100, 100 exactly where on a monitor? Where on means monitor has a pixels. Then where is first pixel, where is next pixel, what is the gap between first two pixels, what is the gap between next pixels. Depending on that, then 10, 10 pixel you have to identify. Right? That has to be done. That is a coordinate representation. To generate a picture using a programming package, we first need to give the geometric description of the object that are to be displayed. When you want to draw object somewhere here to here, you assume that you want to draw object from this cursor point to this cursor point, but you don't know what is the value of this point, this cursor at this point. You don't know whether it is 10, 10, 100, 100. What is this value? What is this value? I don't know, right? Then I don't know what is the point. Then how to? But I want to draw here. Then how to draw? Normally I will draw. I will give input in a geometric description. Then my computer graphics package has to convert that geometric input to discrete form. Then it has to display proper output on my monitor. Right? Then it has to identify where is my 10, 10. If I given 10, 10, then where 10, 10 comes on monitor. From that 10, 10, if I given 100, 100, where 100, 100 comes. Right? On my paper, I might have drawn 10, 10 to 100, 100 here, but it may not be the case. 10, 10, 100, 100 in my monitor. 10, 10 may be somewhere here. 100, 100 may be somewhere here. That has to be mapped. Right? These descriptions determine the location and shape of the object. They have to determine where exactly location on the monitor, what is the shape of that object. Right? Then example, a box is specified by a position of its corners. What I says, when you are drawing my one box on my monitor, just I will simply mention the vertices. And the shape is defined by its center, position and radius. Shape is defined by its center, position and radius. With a few exceptions, general graphics packages require geometric descriptions to be specified in standard. With few exceptions, whatever general packages you are using, those require geometric description to be specified in a standard. Right-handed Cartesian coordinate reference frame. Right-handed Cartesian coordinate reference frame. Then, if coordinate values for a picture are given in some other reference frame, they must be converted to Cartesian coordinates before they can be input to the graphics package. If there are several coordinate systems, there are different coordinate systems are available. If your input is not in a Cartesian coordinate system, that input must be converted to first Cartesian coordinate system. Then that Cartesian coordinate system has to be given input to your graphics package. If it is other than Cartesian coordinates, if your input is in other than Cartesian coordinate system, that input first must be converted to Cartesian coordinate system, then that input has to be given to graphics package. Right? In general, several different Cartesian reference frames are used in process of construction and display the scene. That's why definitely I don't know what is the point, what is the cursor position, what is the x and y on this point on monitor. I don't know what is the exact value at this point, but I want to draw object. I want to draw object from here to here, here to here. Then how it is possible to do this? Definitely I will give input in my own format, then my computer graphics package has to convert its format, then it has to display properly. That's why in general several different Cartesian reference frames are used in the process of constructing and displaying a scene. There are different reference frames will come, means if my reference is, I may consider my origin somewhere here, my OpenGL may consider its origin somewhere here. If I had drawn with considering this reference, I might have drawn a line here. Whatever line I have drawn with reference to this, if the origin of computer graphics is somewhere here, then with respect to this line has to display somewhere here. That's why there are Cartesian reference frame, many Cartesian reference frame will come into play for drawing any object on computer graphics. First, normally how we will give input, we will see. How we will give input to computer graphics, then what computer graphics does, how that is displayed on monitor. Right? In what format we have to give input, then how my computer graphics takes that input into its format, then how that format is converted to its monitor system, then at the end how it is displayed on monitor. Right? First, we can define the shapes of individual objects. First, we have to define the shapes of individual objects such as trees or furniture, whatever. For example, if you want to draw a tree furniture, then individually you have to give input for a tree, individually you have to give input for a furniture within a separate coordinate reference frame. Means for this reference frame is different, for this reference frame is different. Means nothing but you are giving two separate inputs. Nothing but when you are giving input to your computer graphics, these two inputs are separate. Right? Within a separate coordinate reference frame for each object are called modeling coordinates. Example, best example, when you want to draw a cycle, actually output want on your monitor is cycle. You are expecting bicycle on your monitor as output. But how to give input? You have to give separately. You have to give first wheel first input, second wheel second input, then handle, seat, like this individually you have to give. When you are giving individual input, every object has its own reference. Right? That is called modeling coordinate, or sometimes local coordinate, or sometimes master coordinates. Right? All are same. Modeling coordinate, local coordinates, or master coordinates. Means input is normally in modeling coordinates or local coordinates. Means locally I will consider some reference 0 0 here, then I will draw first wheel. Then next wheel I will take some reference here, I will draw next wheel. Then say next time I will consider next reference, then I will draw handle. The next time I will consider then seat. Like this I will separately give input. That is what local means. Locally I have reference points for those objects. Then after that, then once the individual object shapes have been specified, once you specify individual object shapes, we can construct model. Means now we have to model. Then everything has to be combined. Means ultimately you want a bicycle, but how you have given bicycle? You have not given directly bicycle as an input. You have given separately. You have given first time input as one wheel, then next time you have given back wheel, then handle, then seat, then other parts, like that individually you have given. But ultimately what you want? You want a bicycle. Then you have to construct a model, a scene, by placing the objects into appropriate locations with a scene reference frame called world coordinates. Then all individual reference frames you have to model in only one reference frame so that they align in proper positions. Means front wheel has to come front side, back wheel has to go back side, then handle has to come above the front wheel, then seat has to come in between front and back wheel, like that. That is means now you have to consider only one reference frame. Now it has to be considered my OpenGL has to consider only one reference frame. Then with that reference frame everything has to be aligned properly. That is called world coordinate. Involves the transformation of the individual modeling coordinates Here world coordinate nothing but you may require to transfer means you may require to translate, you may require to rotate, you may require to scale down, scale up. All these transformations you have to do. Means back wheel may come front wheel may go back side. At that time you have to translate, you have to move those objects. This is what involves the transformation of the individual modeling coordinate frames to specify positions and orientation within the world coordinate frame. Means everything has to come in only one coordinate system. For doing to come all things in a one coordinate system, you use this process may require transformations. Transformation in the sense you may require to translate, move object, you may require to rotate object, you may require to zoom in, zoom out, right? All these operations definitely you may require to do here in world coordinate, right? Geometric description in modeling coordinates and world coordinates can be given in any convenient floating points. Geometric descriptions in modeling coordinate and world coordinate can be given in any convenient values. If you want, you can give floating point value. If you want, you can give integer values without regard for the constraint of a particular output device. Means normally when you are giving input, it is not compulsory that always you have to give integer input. If you want, you can give floating point, but when it comes to monitor, always monitor takes integer input because pixels are in integer. There is no pixel 2.1, right? Pixels are in integer. That's why screen coordinate is always integer input, right? After all parts of a scene have been specified, the overall world coordinate description is processed. Then this world coordinate description has to be processed through various routines. Now this local coordinate to world coordinate, whatever conversion you have done, then this will be given input to your graphics package. Then graphics package takes this as an input. Then this has to process through various routines. There are various routines are available within the graphics package. Then these will be processed through various routines onto one or more output devices reference frame. Then this world coordinate has to be transferred to our device coordinates. This is the device coordinate. This is the device coordinate. This is the device reference frame. Means this device has somewhere reference. It may be having reference here or it may be having reference here. Then that has to be transferred to output device reference frame for display. This is called viewing pipeline. This is called viewing pipeline. Means input world coordinate input to your monitor output. You may require to convert from your world coordinate to your monitor output. You may require to execute a many number of routines. There definitely it will execute many number of routines to convert from world coordinate to this output device reference. This process is called viewing pipeline. Right? Then what happens? Then world coordinate positions are first converted to viewing coordinates. Now then local coordinate to world coordinate, then world coordinate to viewing coordinate will be converted. In third stage, it will convert world coordinate positions are first converted to viewing coordinate corresponding to the view you want of the scene. Means world coordinate, some image is there, cycle is there. In that cycle, what you want to see, whether do you want to see only front wheel, do you want to see back wheel, or do you want to see entire image? That is viewing coordinate. Means which part of that object you want to view on your monitor. Which part of that object you want to view on that monitor, that is has to be converted. Viewing coordinate corresponding to the view you want seen. Which view of that scene you want to see, that scene has to be converted to viewing coordinate. Right? Again, it is not compulsory that you have to see entire cycle. There may be somebody, they may be interested in only, they want to see the front wheel. Somebody may be interested in back wheel. Somebody may be interested in only handle scene. Then which scene you want to view, that scene has to be converted to viewing coordinates based on the position and orientation of your hypothetical camera. Means nothing but who want to see only front wheel means they have made their camera, they have focused their camera only on front wheel. Who want to see only back wheel, nothing but they have focused their camera on back wheel. Normally it will happen in real life. Whenever you are taking an image, many people are taking an image of a tree, but it may not be the case that everybody is taking an image of full tree. Somebody may be taking the one bird on that tree. Somebody may be taking the image of bird sitting on that tree. Nothing but what he has done, only has focused on that bird. Right? Somebody may be taking image of only one leaf in that tree. Nothing but his focus is on only on that leaf. nothing but it doesn't mean that there is no tree. Tree is there, but how you are focused, that is what hypothetical camera, where which scene of that object you want to see, that has to be nothing but your hypothetical camera you are setting, that has to be converted to viewing coordinates, that has to be converted to viewing coordinates here. Then object locations are transformed to a two-dimensional projection. Now this object locations, in this case anyway 2D, if it is a 2D then there is no problem, 2D it will not transform to 2D. Because your image is, if you consider the image itself in a 2D, then whatever you are displaying, that you are displaying in a 2D monitor. But if your object is in a 3D, then that 3D object has to be converted to 2D, because ultimately you are going to display it in a monitor. Monitor only represents X and Y. On monitor you are allowed to only represent X and Y, but object you have captured is in a 3D. In that case you transform your two-dimensional projection of the scene, means the object location are transferred to two-dimensional projection of the scene, which corresponds to what we will see on the output device, right? Which corresponds to what we will see on the output device. Then afterwards the scene is then stored in normalized coordinates. What you have done, first you have given input in local coordinate, then local coordinate to world coordinate you have done, then world coordinate to viewing coordinate you have converted, then viewing coordinate to your normalized coordinate you are converting into normalized coordinate. You are converting into normalized coordinate, where each coordinate value is in the range from -1 to +1. Means everything, whatever value you have given initially, you might have given 10,10 to 100,100, you have given 99, whatever value you have given, but everything has to be converted to normalized coordinate. Only range is between -1 to +1, -1 to +1, or in the range 0 to 1, or in the range 0 to 1, depending on the system, are also referred as the normalized device coordinates, are also referred as the normalized. Means whatever you have given input, everything will come in the range only -1 to +1, that is a cube. In x direction -1 to +1, in y direction -1 to +1, that is one cube. In that cube you will draw object, that is normalized coordinate. Then finally the picture is scan converted into the refresh buffer of a raster system for display. Then this picture is scan converted into the refresh buffer for display. The coordinate systems for display device are generally called device coordinates or screen coordinates in the case of video monitor. Then you take input from this frame buffer, then you convert that to device coordinates. Then you convert into device coordinates. Means if it is -1 particular point, then where that -1 will equivalent point in your monitor. If -1 point is there, or some -0.1, -0.2 point is there, then exactly where that -1.1 or whatever point, where exactly on your monitor, that will be converted here. This is what graphics package will process like this. It will not directly take input and it will not directly display output. There are many number of routines you have to execute. It will work stage by stage. This all together is called graphics pipeline or viewing pipeline. This all together is called viewing pipeline. Then finally you will get device or monitor, that output will come and display monitor, right? You might have given 10,10 in your paper somewhere from here, but that 10,10 may come in your monitor somewhere here, right? That conversion has to be done. That is what viewing pipeline. This is how we have to give the input. Here first modeling coordinate means I want to draw this and this. Actually I want output like this. Actually I want on my monitor I want output like this. Means one cube, one cylinder. One cube, one cylinder combined together I want with respect to only one frame in this monitor. But how I have given first cylinder, its origin is different, means its reference point is different, right? Again I have given a cube, again its reference is different, again its reference is different. That is what local coordinate. Then local coordinate to modeling coordinate I have to transfer to modeling. This is the modeling coordinate. Then modeling coordinate to world coordinate I have to transfer. Now this is the reference for this. This is the reference for this. Now only one reference I will take. Only one reference I will take with respect to this reference, whether cube comes towards origin or cylinder comes towards origin I have to decide. Then depending on that I may require to do the transformations here. Then as per that I have to align here. Since I have given input like that, then cylinder is coming towards origin, then afterwards cube is coming, then this is world coordinate, then world coordinate to viewing coordinate I have to transfer viewing and projection coordinate. Means which part of which, whether do you want to see both the objects or only you want to see cylinder or you want to see only the cube, then that you decide. Then that is what viewing coordinate. Then viewing coordinate you may require to do the projection. If since it is a 2D, you don't require to projection. Means projection, what you are doing in a projection, you are converting 3D object to 2D object. Here if it is 3D object, you would like to convert 2D object, that is projection. Then afterwards you do normalization. Means whatever object is here, everything has to be represented between 0 to plus 1, 0 to plus 1, 0 to plus 1, or if you take minus 1, minus 1 to 1, minus 1 to 1, or minus, means in all direction. This is what normalized coordinate means. Whatever values you have given, you might have given 10, 10, 100, 1, but everything is mapped between 0 to 1 in x direction, 0 to 1 in z direction, 0 to 1 in y direction. Every object will come. Then this normalized coordinate has to be converted to monitor device coordinates. Then device norm. Then afterwards you have to convert device coordinate. Then that will display in video monitor. Right? Then this is what you will see the output. That's why originally your inputs in modeling coordinates, x modeling coordinate, y modeling coordinate, z modeling coordinate, then modeling coordinate will be converted to world coordinate, xwc, ywc, zwc, then these will be converted to viewing coordinate, these will be converted to viewing coordinate, then viewing coordinate to projection coordinates, then projection coordinate to normalized coordinates, then normalized coordinate to device coordinate, where device coordinate is only 2D, where device coordinate is only 2D, right? This is what we have to give, means input is given in other format, then output is in other format. To move from this to this, you may require to execute many number of routines. You may require to execute many number of routines. This is called viewing pipeline. Means convert one format to other format is called viewing pipeline. Right? This is how the input is slowly, your world modeling coordinate input slowly converted to device coordinate output. Device coordinate output. This is the how our OpenGL processes our input. Then next is coordinate reference frame. Next is coordinate reference frame. To describe a picture, we first decide upon convenient Cartesian coordinates. Normally, whenever we are drawing a picture on paper, normally you will take whatever values you want. You decide whichever convenient Cartesian coordinate system you feel good, right? Then call the world coordinate, right? Already I have told world coordinate reference frame, which could be either 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional. Then we describe the object in our picture by giving their geometric specification in terms of positions in world coordinates. Then we will start giving description of that object in terms of world coordinate specification. For example, if you want to draw a straight line segment with the 2 endpoints positions, when you want to draw a straight line, you will specify only 2 endpoints, one starting point and one end point. For example, 10, 10 to 200, 200. Only this information I have to give when I want to give input. That is what in coordinate, that is world coordinate. If you want to draw a polygon, you specify with set of positions for its vertices. If you want to draw a polygon, then you only mention the vertices. If you want to draw a triangle, then 3 vertices values. You mention only 3 vertices values as per your convenient. This is what world coordinate. Right? Then these coordinate positions are stored in the scene description. These coordinate positions are stored in the scene with the description along with other information. Along with this, other information will be there about the object, such as their color and the coordinate extents. Means along with means your whatever positions, whatever values you are given for your scene. Along with that, other information also has to be stored for processing. Right? Other information in the sense color, coordinate extents, which are the maximum and minimum x and y z object octants, right? This is what world coordinate means. World coordinate, you decide which coordinate system you are familiar. In that coordinate system, you start giving your object as the input. For example, if you want to draw a line, then give whatever value you feel good. It may be floating point or it may be integer. Then that information has to be stored along with your scene. Along with that, again other information, color and coordinate extents has to be stored. Then after that, this has to be converted to screen coordinates. This has to be converted to screen coordinates. Locations of the video monitor are referenced as integer screen coordinates. You have given 10, 10. Already I have told you where 10, 10 in your monitor. Then that location has to map up to 10, 10 in your monitor. That is what is screen coordinate, which corresponds to the pixel position in the frame buffer. As I told you, every pixel has its memory location in the frame buffer. Then pixel coordinate values gives the scan line number. Pixel coordinate values give the scan line number y value and the column number x value along the scan line. As I told, pixel is nothing but x and y. X represents column number, y represents row number, y represents row number. Then with the software commands, with software we can set up any convenient reference plane for scene positions. With software commands we can, means again as I told here, normally our monitor, as a hardware monitor, origin is here, top left corner, right? But our OpenGL takes origin here. By using software commands you can change the reference point. You can change the reference point. If you want, you can maintain the reference somewhere here, or if you want, you can maintain reference somewhere here. That can be adjusted, right? With respect to that, now I have to draw this here. If my reference is somewhere here, with respect to this, where 10, 10 comes, somewhere here. If my reference is somewhere, origin is somewhere here, with respect to this, where my 10, 10 comes. If my reference is somewhere here, then where my 10, 10 comes. In last video I told, means if origin is somewhere here, then x will increment like this, y will increment like this. If origin is somewhere here, y will increment like this, right? Then, for example, we could specify an integer range for a screen position with the coordinate origin at the lower left of scene area, right? For example, if you consider your origin lower left corner, with respect to this, I have to draw my scene. If 0, 0 is here, then always I have to draw my scene toward this. If everything is positive, x is positive, y is positive, then my scene has to be drawn somewhere here. If origin is somewhere here, right? Then the coordinate values we use to describe the geometry of a scene are then converted by the viewing routines to integer pixel positions within the frame buffer. Whatever values you might have given, if you have given floating point or if you have given integer, then those values has to be converted to pixel positions within the frame buffer. Once pixel positions have been identified for an object, the appropriate color values must be stored in the frame buffer. Once you identify pixel position, y means here there is a scan conversion. Pixel position means what value you have given. Originally you have given only 2 endpoints for a line. You have given starting point and end point. But to draw starting point and end point, starting point is assumed at 10, 10, end point is assumed at 100, 100. Between 10, 10 to 100, 100, you might have covered a many number of pixels. Then which is the next pixel? After 10, 10, which next pixel I have to switch on? Then after that, which next pixel I have to switch on? There are many scan conversion algorithms out there. Definitely you might have executed to calculate next pixel till the end, right? Once you identified pixel along that line, starting point to end point, once you identify pixel along that line from starting point to end point, then you set the color values must be stored in the frame buffer. Then with what color you want to draw that line, right? There are again functions are available. With that you set the color. Then this is regarding the coordinate reference plane. Then next is absolute and relative coordinate specification. Then how to specify coordinate values. Whenever you are specifying coordinate values in OpenGL or in computer graphics application, there are 2 techniques. So far, whatever system we have used till explanation of this slide, so far the coordinate reference that we have discussed are stated as absolute coordinate system. Absolute coordinate values means that the values specified are the actual positions within the coordinate system in use. Values specified are actual coordinate means if origin is somewhere here, if I mention 10, 10, from this 10 in x direction, from this 10 is in y, actual value that is 10, 10. From origin, if it is a 0, in x direction 10 number of pixels, in y direction 10 number of pixels, where that 10, 10 will come, that is the actual value. If I mention something 10, 10 means actual value of that pixel I have mentioned here. If I mention 100, 100 means in x direction 100 pixels, in y direction 100 pixels. If I mention 100, 100, where that 100, 100 comes, that is the actual pixel. That is what meaning of this means. This means that the values specified are the actual positions within the coordinate system in use. That is absolute coordinate system. However, some graphics packages also allow positions to be specified using relative coordinates. What do you mean by relative coordinates? Taking this approach, we can specify a coordinate position as an offset from the last position that was referenced, called the current position. Example, with example I will explain. For example, already you are referred location 3,8, means already you are at 3,8 position. On your monitor you are at 3,8 position. You want 5,2, next you want 5,2. Next you want 5 comma 2. In absolute coordinate system, how we are referring? If you want 3 comma 2, directly 3 comma 8, you mention 3 comma 8. If you want 5 comma 7, you directly mention 5 comma 7. Directly mention 5 comma 7. 5 comma 7 in the sense directly exactly want to go to 5 comma 7. 3 comma 8 is in the exactly want to go to 3 comma 8. But in relative coordinate system, assume that already you have drawn, you have referred 3 comma 8. Now you want 5 comma 7. After that you want 5 comma 7. In absolute coordinate system, how you are given? Whenever you want 3 comma 8, directly you are given 3 comma 8. Whenever you want 5 comma 7, you are given 5 comma 7. But in relative coordinate system, already you are at 3 comma 8. When you want to move to 5 comma 7, instead of giving 5 comma 7, I will give 2 comma minus 1. I will give 2 comma minus 1. Then if I give 2 comma minus 1, this is the offset from previously currently used position. This is the offset of currently used position. Means already I am at 3 comma 8. Now I am referring at 2 comma minus 1 means this is a plus 2. Already 3 plus 2 you will get 5. This is 8 minus 1 minus 1 8 comma 8 minus 1 you will get 7. Whatever value next time I am mentioning, that is offset from the currently used value. Means now nothing but this value is offset from current position. This value is offset from current position. Means to 3 it adds 2, from 8 it subtract minus 1. Then you will get 5 comma 7. Now you will come to minus 5 comma 7. Suppose if you want to move to 10 comma 10. Now you want 10 comma 10. 10 comma 10. Now you are at a 5 comma 7. Now you want exactly 10 comma 10. Then what value you have to give? 5 comma 3. If you give 5 comma 3, then this 5 will be added. This 7 3 will be added. Then 5 plus 5 is a 10. Then 7 plus 3 is a 10. Then you will move to 10 comma 10. This is what relative coordinates. There are some packages you will use this type of coordinate mention, but in our this subject most of the time we are using absolute. We will not prefer such type of coordinate system. We will prefer absolute coordinate, means whichever pixel you want, just to give the number of that pixel, values of that pixel. We will not prefer relative, but there are some packages they will take the input as a relative coordinate system. This is regarding absolute and relative coordinate system. Then next is some brief, means very basic introduction of OpenGL. I will start introduction of OpenGL. Remaining part, introduction of remaining part of the OpenGL introduction will start in a lab itself. Specifying a two-dimensional word coordinate reference frame in OpenGL. How to specify two-dimensional word coordinate reference frame? Whatever theoretically I have discussed here means world coordinate reference frame. How world coordinate reference frame model local coordinate to world coordinate, how will move that, how to specify in OpenGL. You want that concept in OpenGL. For doing that one, there is a GLU Ortho 2D. GLU Ortho 2D will mention where you want to see, where you want to see, which part of that object you want to see. This is what is GLU Ortho 2D. Means from which x minimum you have to start seeing that object, at which x maximum you want to stop seeing that object. In the same way, in which y direction, in which y minimum you want to start looking at object, and which in the same way at what y maximum you want to stop seeing that object. This will be decided, means only whatever values you have mentioned, only this part of the object will be captured, nothing but you are capturing, right? Then whenever captured object, whenever you want to display, then there are different projects, means how you are seeing. There are different type of scenes, perspective projection and parallel projection. Which type of projection, how to see, whether you want to see parallelly or what, right? That projection matrix you have to use. That scene has to be converted to projection matrix. Then projection matrix, whatever content is there in projection matrix, that has to display like this. Means this is your video screen, this is your video screen, and this video screen only you would like to see this part, that is display window. That is x minimum, x maximum, y minimum, y minimum. Means if some object is somewhere here or some object is somewhere here, it will not be seen. It will not be seen because you have moved camera this side. Then if object is here, it will not be seen because you have moved camera up. Means only objects available in this you would like to see, right? Then which type of parallelly? you would like to see parallel means you are standing exactly parallel to that object, you would like to see exactly parallel. That is what projection. Then this load identity, if somebody has used this projection, again this is the matrix, if somebody have already used this projection matrix, they might have left some result in that projection matrix. Means previous program execution result may be there here. If you start using the previous program result along with this, you may get a different answer. To clear the previously calculated values if left in this projection matrix, just load with identity map. Means clear the content before usage. Clear the content of projection matrix before usage. If somebody have already used, then it may happen that the result of previous program may be stored in projection matrix. Before using, you would like to clear. That's why load identity matrix. Load identity matrix will clear the content already available. Then once you clear, then load with new values. Then those values you display here. Those values like that we can set the two-dimensional OOAD coordinate reference frame. In this way, I can set the two-dimensional OOAD coordinate reference frame. Right? This is what how to set reference frame. Right? Thank you.